106.1 KFFB on the road.
The Independence County Fair at Batesville is celebrating its 100-year anniversary, now through Saturday. Come meet the timeless 106.1 KFFB crew and pick up your timeless sticker. Our broadcast is made possible by White River Health Systems, Mountain View Chevrolet, Gillahan's Body Shop, Shelter Insurance, Gerald Hastings Agents, Sweetie Cakes, Sherwood Tractor, and Rosebud at Blackwell. The Independence County Fair celebrating 100 years with timeless 106.1 KFFB.
Timeless 106.1 FM KFFB. This is Bob Connell. Just pulling Linda Baxter over here just for a minute. Linda, you know, we talked about the 100th anniversary. There is so many memories of just the 40 years that I've been part of the fair.
But I've got you beat. You know, I showed livestock as a young girl. I'm not going to say how young. But then I come along and my boys, I have two that showed for 20 years. And now my grandchildren are participating. So you talk about memories. I think I have quite a few.
It's something when you look at that. Does it kind of bring tears to your eyes when you see your grandbabies, you think of your kids, and you think of yourself, and you think of your parents and your grandparents?
Oh, yes. I guess you say, you know, you're born with blood, with fair blood in you, and that's, I guess I am. So
you know, there's been so many people we can think of that was part of the fair, and the buildings are named after. You know, like the building back here is named after.
It used to be called the J.W. Collier Arena, and then the Blanche Crane Building, and, you know, just the Ola Gray. But, you know, through the years, a lot of people don't remember those, and we've had to paint, so those have been taken down. But, you know, the memories are still there.
Mrs. Gray, yeah, I remember Mrs. Gray. And then I remember Mr. Collier, he always would bring Pee-wee. So a lot of people call you, if you knew him, you called him Pee-wee, we call him Pee-wee. He'd come by and get a radio station cap. I had cap every year, and we had cheap caps back then. Now I look back, and they look like those that we used to, you know, those dollar caps. You know, they were cheap, and he'd get the, you know, and that was what he'd wear, and it was something he did, and it was just something I remember that. And even Mr. Bryant, you remember Duffy Bryant was always on the radio with me, and a lot of folks.
I have to say, Duffy is the one that nominated me for board president.
Isn't that something? Yes, I remember that.
Yes, he did.
You know, and Duffy he always came on the radio with me, and we became really good friends over the years, and that's another one that we've lost a few years back. But you go back, and another one of my favorite moments of the fair is one that I was broadcasting live. Back then, you know, they just turn you on, and you just had to talk until they turned you off, because the radio was on. If you remember, it was in the back of the commercial building, and David Wyatt was the county judge. And they said, hey, we would like you to get on the ride. You two go on the ride, Mr. Miller and one of his guys, you know, Carney's, and says, you guys can get on this ride. It's a brand new ride. David goes, come on, Bob, we can do it. And I had a remote unit. I said, well, okay. And if you remember, Dwayne Milliken was over the Cox Cable back then. Now it's Suddenlink. And they were filming it. And it's somewhere out in the archive somewhere. I know it's going to come back. But they got us on that ride. And you know, back then, Pepsi would give you all the Pepsi you could drink, Bob. And I drank a lot of Pepsi. I got on that ride. See, I'm setting this up. And it's one of those that goes upside down. And they kept us going. I swear it was an hour.
I'm sure it was.
And they got their money's worth. And I remember I was going, okay, guys, we can stop the ride anytime. And David stopped talking because he was green. I was keeping talking, and we got out. And Dwayne Milligan says, when I got out, it looked like I was landing on the moon. I didn't know where I was, and they just got their money's worth. So that's one of my favorite stories. You know?
And I think if you remember, we rode a ride together.
That's right.
We taped on a ride one year.
Yep.
I'd also like to add that in the commercial building in the corner is a memory corner. We have pictures that are from years back, and also our memorial plaques are there of former board members that have passed away. So they need to be sure you go by and look at that corner. It's really neat. I will tell you one funny one. The county was out here, and one of the workers that was here, of course, he was an inmate, and he wanted to go down the big slide. And of course, all the tow sacks were put up. And he asked David, said, can I go down that? Well, of course, it had dew on it. Well, he went down pretty fast.
I bet he thought I'll do that one again.
No, I think it was quite interesting.
Quite interesting. We could have stories, what these walls could tell 100 years.
Lots of stories.
Lots of stories. Well, folks, we want to see you at the Independence County Fair as we celebrate 100 years here in Batesville.